All right, welcome back, folks. We are getting into the grand finals. We're so close to raising the rest of the prize money for this. I know that we started today with $100. We started this tournament with $100. It's just kind of like a once-off thing to test out a new admin. Big shout out to Dares, by the way, who, by the way, the public opinion thinks your name should be pronounced Dares. But lots and lots of people helping contribute. We got lots of codes used up and awesome. And I just want to thank you guys all so much for helping us get this up to $396. I think there's still a couple of Shazbot codes left, so make sure when you go hit donate, you type in Shazbot, and if there's $1 available, it'll generate $1. I'm not going to hit donate. I already did. I'd like for one of you guys to help us out. But like I said, if we can get $100 raised throughout the course of these finals and bring the prize pool up to a total of $500, we will create a second place prize. As it currently stands, it's going to be $400 for the winning team only. $200 each isn't too bad. That being said, if we can get $100 raised, we will create that for the second place prize specifically. So second place will get $100. $50 each for second place, a small day of StarCraft, and some kind of relaxing 2v2s, not incredibly stressful 1v1s. It's not too bad. But if nothing else, guys, do us a favor and hit us up with a retweet. Retweets, please. I beg you. Actually, we've been a little bit more beggy about retweets and likes lately, and I'd like to explain why. Because there's some actual reason for this now. In the past, you guys have, everyone's shrugged this off. Like, I got like 2 followers on Twitter. Who fucking cares if I retweet it? Twitter's got this really silly thing, and I actually hate it, to be honest, but we might as well take advantage of it while we can. It's got a silly thing where if you have been offline for a while and you log into Twitter, it'll have a show me what I've missed sort of tab that gets forced upon you, and it links popular tweets. So for example, if we have a tweet with a lot of likes and a lot of retweets, well, you might not have a lot of followers. We do, and it will likely show up in their news feeds if you guys help us retweet and like it. So maybe you don't have any money to spend on the tournament, and maybe you didn't get a chance to use the promo codes, but you still want to help out. A retweet and a like can go a really long way. So make sure to hit us up on Twitter with some of that action, guys, and let's get this finals started. It's going to be a best of 5 kicking off on the Shrines of Lizul. Say ready whenever players are. And yeah, once again, it'll be best of 5, not a best of 3, so just a little bit more action over there. But I will be honest and true, guys. I hope we can. We threw $100 into this ourselves. Matcherino met us with another 100. We've had a really great story for the prize pool, and I would love to push this over to get a second place prize. That being said, however, as a small little like asterisk, these guys have actually played a lot of winner take all things in the past, and they actually like the pressure it creates. So it's not even a bad thing if we don't reach that goal. But looks like these guys are on a TeamSpeak server, and people are just trying to talk and chat, and it's just lagging, so we'll probably need a moment while they figure out what's going on with that. I don't mind waiting, though. Skype is shitty, but it works. Alright, my language filter. Here I am actually swearing on the cast. The BattleNet's trying to clean up my language for me. Excuse me. Yo, I'm just sitting here at this point thinking like, man, the worst part of this is like I gotta turn in my like order hall quests on Warcraft. Then I just remembered like there's that Legion app. I'm gonna go do that really quick, guys. So excuse me. While they get things sorted, I need to make sure that my followers are getting me some gold while I'm not playing the game. Okay. I'm on TV, Mom. Dom, were you in that like screen region we were doing earlier? Oh, that was loud. Let me turn that down so it doesn't blow your guys' ears off. Oh yeah, 133 gold just for using my phone. Oh yeah. Oh, I even got the bonus roll. Yo, feels good, man, when you get like the bonus roll on these stupid loot things. What? I just got a mission fail with 112% success rate. How does that work? It doesn't. That's how. God damn it, that's stupid. Okay. That's a bug I can't wait for them to fix. Alright, 120% chance. Let's do this. I can't possibly fail, right? Right? Okay, that's right. Alright, let's hope it doesn't. Ready to go whenever the players are. Just gotta finish up with my phone application. But okay, looks like we're about to get off with this best of 5. Get off was the wrong choice of words, but I'm not going to go back and correct it. And also, once again, apologies for the hacking and coughing you're hearing on the stream. It's I'm actually getting to this point where I'm afraid I'm going to have to go in for the doctor to get it checked out, because I really don't know what's causing this, like, lung disease I seem to be experiencing. Anyways, folks, welcome back to the 2 versus tournament grand finals. It's a best of 5 now, not a best of 3, as indicated down below. This was a really bad map for one of these guys last time. Spawning here on the leftmost side of the map, it's going to be the combination of Elazer and uThermal, who we have dubbed Team Thermal Laser. And their opponent's right side, we got the barcode. It's MajOr and his ally Harstem, the Team Harstem. By the way, apparently we are getting closer and closer. Got to update that prize pool now up to $412. 8 dank dollars away from that $420. Blaze it! And thank you to Alice. By the way, we just threw in another $5 or A1 last. Man, I still don't know how to say that. I feel so bad, so guilty. But we got some proxy action coming out of Harstem. And this is a little bit funny to watch because you got to consider, you know your opponent's spawn here and here. So this is really middle of the road for both this. But this is 3 gates deep. And I don't know that I've seen this before work in a 1v1 setting. However, this comes back to that element of 2v2. MajOr's going to be following up with some Reapers. They're going to be ganging up. Oh, I love this. I love this a lot. Now, it depends on who they choose to gang up on, right? On one hand, if you try to gang up on uThermal, he might actually have a wall up. On the other hand, Elazer's actually got Lings out ready to play with, as he was going for an early pool himself. And Harstem's actually barely going to have one zealot. Oh, is this going to get scouted? Elazer's pinging. He says, on my way to Harstem's base. He said in that direction. Now where there's proxies, he pings to let his ally know. Okay, there's some gateways we got to worry about, man. This is going to be bad. This is going to be nasty. He starts up his factory. There's not really a lot more to be done behind this, though. And he starts a bunker up, too, to cover the high ground. So it's walled off, and uThermal won't be the one to feel the pressure here. But uThermal might just catch the Zealot in a bit of an awkward spot. The Lings are looking for surround, and that Zealot is met with another one. 2 Zealots should be able to fight this, especially with a probe mixed into it. But let's not forget, MajOr has his Reapers on the way. Elazer trying to pressure on those pylons to keep them from powering the gateways, but I don't know that uThermal builds much that helps with it. On one hand, we might see him go for the Hellions again. They were a clutch save last time they were in a sticky situation, but looks like he's aiming for tanks this time around. But I think 3 Zealots and this Reaper should be able to take this on. Actually, the Reaper's the most important element to this, I'd say. The Zealots can fight with the Lings mano and mano, but the Reapers have got those grenades, and that Queen, she's trying so badly to chase this one off. Combat Drug's not quite kicking in just yet. The Queen goes down. The Zealots block this out, but the reason the Reapers are so important is they can guard the ramp. They can keep any reinforcements from uThermal from coming in. But while these Lings run around and try to buy time, Harstem sends a depth to the mineral line. More Reapers coming on in. And I think that this game is perhaps just a little bit too cheesy for this awesome team to handle. Lings and drones actually get scattered in a way that benefit towards a surround, but at the end of the day, this is still more Zealots than it is Adepts, and you can't quite surround these, unfortunately. Bladed terrors that they be. I would like to point out uThermal has lost no units this game, but he's also not been able to contribute much either. Feels bad, man. The Cyclone, not a tank being the option, but I mean, this is not something he can send across to help his ally, and this is, it's just gonna be unfortunate. I'm sure Elazer is probably yelling at uThermal right now. uThermal yelling back, like, "What can I do to help, bro? We just got cheesed out on a cheesy map. They got out cheesed." There was actually some really sick games that got played out on Frost. One of my favorite games we ever got to cast, and I'll never forget this, is that I believe it was Hydra and Cats versus Parting and somebody. I don't remember who was playing with Parting, but it doesn't matter because they died right away to similar 2v1 gang up tactics. But Parting was then, from that point on, able to play a 2v1 and win the game. Can someone find that on our YouTube VODs and link that in chat? Because that is without a doubt one of the most epic 2v2 games. Even though you know the results of it, watch the game. It was like one of the most epic 2v2s I think I'll ever have seen in my history of StarCraft 2. Nothing will be better than that when it comes to team play. That being said, I don't know that uThermal has that same potential in him. Not to say that he's not as good of a player, but Cyclones, as good as they are, they can't rebuild the 0 drones that Elazer presently has. In fact, at this point, uThermal may be better off just giving Elazer control of his units so that somebody can dedicate to microing the Cyclones while the other person dedicates to microing the SCVs around and getting mining back up. But there is nothing up here, and Harstem sends in an adept to confirm that. There's no mining, there's no secret bases. It is 1v2 at this point. Cyclones are really good units. Don't make any mistake. They got Magfield Accelerator too. They'll power through everything and anything they can. But damn, guys, this is a rough start for Team uThermal and Elazer. If it was just Harstem, he would actually eventually get kited down to these Cyclones and lose the game slowly to it. But with MajOr being his backup, I love that they've consolidated over here, by the way. But with MajOr being his backup, tanks managed to beat out Cyclones, and unfortunately, there's just no way to grab onto this and catch them unless they're mobile, repositioning, or in medevacs. But looking to buy some time at the top of the ramp, Cyclones don't have a lot of health, so they have to run away, give up the high ground vision that was going to allow them otherwise to lock onto the pylon and break it. Harstem saying, defend the siege tank, man. Keep it alive. Keep that Cyclone, or the tank dream alive. The idea of the barracks, I love all of this kind of being reapplied back in a different direction. Unfortunately, though, while Harstem and MajOr did have to suffer for this the first time they played on this map, that we got to cast at least this time around, not looking to be the case. Another overcharge almost available. He's also got the tank reposition now, too. Cyclones don't have a lot of health. That's going to be game. GG! Harstem and MajOr, Harstem take the first game in this best-of-5 finals. But holy shit! Excuse me. I was really hoping we would eventually trickle in like $5 here, $20 there, $1 there. But holy fucking shit, guys! Gamer Elliptical just usurped Mega Man Red with a $100 donation, making the total prize pool for this now $522. That's amazing, dude. I got nothing but claps and respect for that. Thank you so much. My donation doesn't count. That was what we were putting in to just start this off. The $422 we've raised since then, that's largely in part to Gamer Elliptical, Mega Man Red, The Abyss, Unremitting, all these guys who donated some of their own hard-earned cash to get some better games and to provide these players with an awesome prize pool. I thank you guys so much for your generosity, because I can now happily report to the players, prize pool is now $522. For second place is worth 100, but winner takes the rest. There you go. So, I mean, ideally we were, excuse me here. Ideally we were shooting for like $400, $100 is the split. I thought barely we would hit that goal. Fucking nope. Gamer Elliptical, guys, just dropped the gosh darn hammer. $100. Thank you so much, man. Tinker2A, by the way, Slimer ZZZ. Don't let me forget about you guys. That $5 that you each contributed was massive as well. We didn't expect a big bomb like that to come in, so thank you both for the $5 contributions to the prize pool. And again, a little bit of a reaffirming update is that when it comes to prize pools with Matcherino, normally they take a small percentage off to cover PayPal fees, their costs, etc. They don't. That's our deal with them, guys. They will make sure that players get 100% of the prize money available, and that's good to see. But we did it, so thank you, everybody. I don't have to worry about pushing that, but still, any more money raised is always going to be better. Getting into game number 2 now, though, it's going to be on Snowy Mesa. Same team, same combination, nobody changing up their races. I would like to stress, though, that it is totally an option for these guys to swap races should they feel there's a little bit too much OP in one direction or another. So, I don't think we will see race swaps. Just know that it is an option. Spawning here on the top side of the map, however, it is going to be the combination of Elazer and uThermal. Team Thermalance. However, their opponents who are up one game... Oh, we had some ping tactics going on. talk about Elazer doing all this in a moment. It is the combination of MajOr and Harstem, aptly named Team Harstem. But Harstem talking about taking the golds, Elazer may have been predicting that was the case because we had a couple of pings towards the backside by Elazer. And you might be saying, okay, they're going to probably take the gold, let's do X, let's do Y. Him and uThermal then debating strategies on what's the best course of action. But yeah, this is really cool, guys. I love the way that this has been played out and handled. This is great. Now, that first game, a lot of smart decision making is what makes me say what I just did. However, we do still have to find out whether this game is going to lead to awesome, crazy tactics or a little bit of extra cheese. The fact that a hatchery has already been taken by Elazer and we don't have multiple barracks coming down out of uThermal tells me that at least on this side of the game, it might not be too cheesy. But I do want to point out, again, MajOr does some cool things, and I think Mech has so much more strength in 2v2 than it does 1v1. So it's awesome, and I think that if MajOr goes Mech, as he has done many times in the past in TVT, that'll be a huge counter to it will possibly be a huge counter to uThermal is the way I should probably phrase that. But it's going to come down a lot to Harstem and Elazer. They don't simply mirror each other like we've seen in the past. And uThermal, by the way, is putting a proxy down. Oh my. So I said it wasn't going to get too cheesy, but I was mistaken. Harstem getting a scout off, though, indicates that there should be a factory already on the way. He knows this, too, unless there's a fast command center, which he doesn't scout. If he wants to check the gold on his way out, there could potentially be a command center just building right here. If he were to confirm that there wasn't, then he would know for certain something was up. But now the question gets asked, what type of certain thing is up? I'm going to guess that it's probably going to be one of mine into a couple Liberators. You get the medevac to drop. But Liberator is the follow-up to that, is my best guess. Looks like MajOr is scouting around. He's completely suspicious, and rightfully so. And I think that Reaper is rallied up here, and he will see the factory in the starport. Shut this down. This is not good for uThermal on Elazer. This throws a huge wrench in the works. Did that SCV... This has happened a couple times. Someone clipped that really quick. I'm pretty sure the SCV just disappeared instead of exploding. I've seen this happen a couple of times, specifically with Queens as well. The Queens just disappear. You're like, where the fuck did they go? There's no corpse, there's no death, there's no explosion. They just disappear. They get deleted. I think we just saw another example of that. By the way, it looks like some people have dug up that game in chat. Thank you, Greyface, No Space, and the others. Yeah, Team Simjang versus Team Big Boys. Yeah, it was Parting and Saxtery, Cats and Hydra. Still, without a doubt, my favorite 2v2 of all time. And not because we cast it. I could have been watching anyone cast this, and seeing that game play out the way it did, it would still forever have a place in my heart. I will never forget that game. Parting is so good. I really hate that he's not more active, but I know that he's not the biggest fan of StarCraft 2, unfortunately. A lot of people have lost the passion. Alphonsonator 3 hits us up with a 2-month resub. Thank you so very much. And James or Games trying to correct my pronunciation of Snowy Mesa. No, because if it was Snowy Mesa, then I would be thinking Black Mesa, then I'd be thinking Half-Life, and then I'd be like, oh, that's right, there's no Half-Life 3. Feels bad, man, and spiral into a seriously unrecoverable depression. So, for that reason, it's Snowy Mesa. Alright, Triple Widowmine's coming in. Unfortunately, though, not going to do so great against a Terran player. Might do good against Protoss. Couple of kills popped off over here. Really just 2 for the Terran. This one gets a big hit. 6 Widowmines down. Other side of the map, Oracle being a little annoying. And a Nidus Worm came out of a laser. I didn't realize he was cooking this bad boy up. I was too busy reading chat, and that's my bad. But completely gets into the base. Queens and Roaches should be able to take on the Hellions. Hell, that Banshee might not even be too substantial. And let's not forget, the Widow Mines are still available. uThermal may plant all of these down to Harstem's mineral line, and even camp out on top of the Stargate? No, it goes to the other mineral line instead. There's some action over here, but these Widow Mines get surrounded! Harstem, no! 13 kills, probes dying, Elazer and uThermal fallen into just the absolute best place they could. I shouldn't say falling, that sounds like it's a bad thing, because it's really Harstem and MajOr, I guess, who are falling out of their prized position here. Down to 13 workers for MajOr. Down to 28 probes for Harstem, who is playing such a hard macro game. Not a great position to be in. He does transfer what little ones he has left up here to the top right, but I think there just might be a little too much done. In fact, the Hellions get caught in the middle of the map. The Marines and the Banshee take him down from 5 to 2. New Night Storm came up to replace one that was killed by the Banshees, but still, I think this game is a little too far gone. uThermal now with more power on top of Major's mineral lines. I mean, the Banshees, 2 Banshees. There's a Phoenix out, and the single Phoenix may eventually clean this up, but the Widow Mines did a really great job this game. I thought with the proxy having gone off, it would be all over. There'd be no chance to survive. Widow Mine gets another pretty nice hit. Harstem trying to say, help me, my Nexus is under attack. But this isn't going to cut it, guys. This simply isn't going to cut it. I guess Major's Banshees? Okay, let's say they clean this up. Harstem's not going to have a lot of money to work with, and neither will Major, but Elazer knows about this base. He's pinging, saying, get over here! He doesn't see the actual base, but the Overlord sees the probes, and I think this is where this game is going to start really coming towards a conclusion for these guys. A glitch in the Matrix confirmed with that SCV kill, by the way. Thank you for clipping that so we could see. Like, WTF, man. Widowmine gets another pop-off, and the Hellions... Just there's no counterattack potential here. They both combined have less workers than either of the other individual players. And we talk so much about how big of a deal macro is when we're describing pros, and we talked about it specifically in the series leading into this, and I just got to really reiterate, like, uThermal and Elazer have got the macro game. Scans going down all over the place to confirm where they are positionally, but that's going to be game. Tying up this series now 1-1, Elazer and uThermal. We're going to squeeze out to a quick commercial break, though, guys. Thank you again. $522 is the current prize pool. See you guys soon. Okay, we're back. Thank you for watching that commercial break, guys. We're in the lobby for Fields of Death. There's a lot of gold borders in here. Lots of Grandmaster ranking players, and whenever they're ready, we'll get this started. Fields of Death, map 3. And yeah, scores tied up 1-1. For those just tuning in, this is the grand finals of the 2 versus tournament. We do have, of course, $522 in pricing, thanks to all you lovely people. There's going to be a second place prize now, thanks to the contributors. $100 for the losing team, so $50 each. And then, of course, the $400 and then maybe some for the first place team. Not too bad. Very, very nicely done, StarCraft 2 community. Love to see when this sort of stuff happens. That's why MajOr is fun to work with. But as said, the scores are tied up 1-1. Gotta give a shout out to Fippers. 6 months on that resub. Says, woo! Every time I want something to watch, here you are running another tournament. Thank you. I'll give you some hearts right back at you, man. Yeah, we try to be as on as we can with StarCraft 2 and love the game, so that helps as well. But we are in game number 3, as stated many times now leading into this. In the top right side of Fields of Death, we've got the team known as Harstem. It's the combination of Harstem and Major. And in the bottom side, we have the yellow Zerg player Elazer paired up with his liquid counterpart uThermal. Team Thermal Laser. Now, I would like to point out that uThermal and Elazer have almost incidentally become a bit of a rivalry with a lot of our Corsair Cup action. We see Elazer versus uThermal, uThermal versus Nurtio. A lot of TVZs out of him. And a matchup he really excels at. I didn't actually think... I guess you get so caught up in the 1v1 dynamic, you don't think that these two players would ever play together. But at that same time, there's that respect. You're like, man, I play against you all the time. I know how good you are. Do you want to play with me and win some bucks at StarCraft for 2v2? So that's kind of cool. Harstem and Major, of course, we already know our friends, and they're on the same team, both playing for Invasion. So this one makes a little more sense. Just kind of good to see, I guess, enemies and rivals come together. Once again, questions in chat. Where is Jessica? Where is Zombie Grub? For the millionth time, guys, she's taking the weekend off. She's actually at an event called Kings of the North. They're also streaming a StarCraft 2 tournament currently. Fear Dragon is one of the casters there, but more importantly, if you check Twitter, she's been tweeting a bunch of pictures. So has Fear Dragon, and of course, I'll be getting on the BaseTradeTV Twitter later to try and retweet all those so you guys can see all the action. But I would definitely recommend giving them both a follow if you haven't, so you can keep up with all the StarCraft going on over there. Zombie will be back tomorrow. I'm not sure if it'll be in time for the Corsair Cup or not, but she'll be back for at least the Elima League guaranteed. And that being said, I'll be solo casting once again for the Corsair Cup, so hopefully you guys have not unenjoyed the broadcast so far. And hopefully my cough should be under under control by then too. I don't know, man. I'm going to sleep every night, like chugging NyQuil. I'm drinking lots of water, doing the vitamin C thing. Like, man, it's like a lung thing though. It's not like a throat thing. this wretched cough of mine. So, again, I apologize. I've been muting a majority of them, but still one or two will slip through, and I just can't. Self-conscious, if anything about that. Anyways, once again, it's gonna be Adept and a Reaper for the poke. I think this is a dangerous and a very strong poke to open the game with, but I don't think it's something uThermal and Elazer won't be able to handle. You know, in TVT, we see weird little things like, oh look, two Reapers and a Hellion, they won the game, and that was really lame and over quickly. Same dynamic is not really present here with the strength of a Zerg backup, I suppose you could say. Other side of the map, actually I have the Reaper over here get caught by Harstem, so a little unfortunate for uThermal as he doesn't quite get a full scout off. I think he saw a good chunk just popping up to that main, but yeah, he's not going to be able to further see whether it's going to be a Banshee, whether it's going to be tanks or a medevac, and we'll quite know what's coming up after this. Also, what's nice, I'm pretty sure we don't have to rely on cheese. Like, it was really cool seeing uThermal do the proxy factory, and it didn't work out for him, but he's still able to play the game after that. Neither of these teams, I think, rely on cheese to win. That first game was definitely cheesy, but I don't think we'll see a lot of that in the remaining games. All depends on map, I think, above all else. The Adept over here gets a little bit caught, tries to focus down some SCVs, doesn't quite get its value, unfortunately. But these Hellions, however, may do so. They get on top of these SCVs and get some kills for free. A little bit late to the response with the Lings, because it's the Marines and the Lings combined which will deal with this the best. If it's just one or the other, the Hellions should prevail. I mean, Marines tend to do this unfortunate thing where they line up really nicely for shots. The Oracle comes in and there's not enough anti-air for this. The Widow Mine actually might just be what drives us off. They have to be a little bit careful tiptoeing around this. But that Widow Mine is not in a position to help. This one, once again, sees two of them. SCV's getting pulled though. That could be scary. Hellion shots combined with the Oracle focused on that Widow Mine like nobody's business. Harstem and MajOr. I know we called them Harstem, but there's no actual bio to be playing with. I love that pickup out of uThermal, by the way. There's no way he was going to walk those SCVs out of there alive. That being said, this is so much value coming here for Harstem and MajOr. Losing a lot of mining, killing a lot of SCVs. uThermal is struggling in the matchup, and this is looking a little bit like what we saw happen with Practice before. When it was Practice and 4-Bolt, okay, they recovered, they stabilized, but they were so far behind for it. The main key difference, I would say, is Elazer has a lot of drones and thus a lot of money. He might be able to funnel towards uThermal to help make up for that lack of economy and lost early game. Yeah, Banshee's taking a couple of shots, getting all the kills that it can, racking this up to about 8 so far. Not all in SCVs, but hell, burning a scan for this early, not killing the Banshee with said scan. uThermal's already needing, not wanting, but needing to use mules. Oh my god, 3 scans to kill a Banshee! 3 scans is way too much and way too devastating. Widow Mine gets a pop off, but the medevac still goes down. The Phoenix are still alive. It's safe to say that Harstem and MajOr have so much control in this game. It's just unbelievable. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough to really tip the scales early on, and this is funneled and snowballed to this point where I could make this hype like, well, what if they make this mistake? What if they make that mistake? Liberator denies a little bit of mining here, but it's still not enough, I feel. uThermal just got trucked on so hard. And he's still feeling the wrath of it. There's Banshee floating around. 3 kills over here. Burning 3 scans already. Sitting on 22 SCVs is not comfortable. Marines dying out for this. Now there's no more anti-air. Just going to shift clicks the SCVs so he can focus elsewhere. Phoenix has come home and cleaned up that Liberator. No more denying MajOr's mining. Puts him back on full production swing. Blue Flame coming out of this. We're going to have mech, boys. Mech. Everybody. There's going to be 13 or 14 mutas coming out. And if this was a situation where it was solely Elazer versus MajOr, and MajOr was doing these same moves, MajOr would be a fool, and he'd die out to the mutas. But the nice thing is he's got backup. He's got Harstem to cover his weaknesses. So while MajOr dominates the ground with Blue Flame Hellions, and hell, these might even be Hell Bats by the time he's ready to attack, Harstem's got his back through the air. Lots of Phoenixes in play. The Mutalists might be a little bit alarming, and Harstem won't initially have enough Phoenixes to deal with this. But I think once they realize that it's mutas, Harstem should have no trouble getting the time required to back this up. But it's just so awkward because there's so many Hellions and so many Adepts and so little anti-air flying right into the mutas. Oh my god, okay, now aware that's going to be the case. Oracle does land a Revelation. Let's not forget, if really this came down to a pinch, Harstem could have his Phoenixes repaired by Major's SCVs. But I don't think either player is really thinking that right now, and a little bit of miscontrol costs him 2 of his Phoenix. Mutalisk's going to chase after this, but this might be that same problem we see in ZVZ, where the mutas can't clean up the roaches in time. Can these mutas stop this many Adepts and this many Blue Flame Hellions before this game becomes completely out of control? And I'm thinking right now, it seems like a no. Goes right to that mineral line. Roach is actually really nice to guard this. He's focusing down the Lings, though, because he knows that his opponent can't actually deal with the Adepts if the Lings are gone from play. But looks like the Adepts didn't transfer through. He actually went for a back away from this, and now the Adepts are just running away from nothing. The mutas will chase them down. They'll eventually die. Medivacs pick up the Hellions and buy them a little bit of extra life. That being said, this time around, this might be too much of a sacrifice and too deep for Major. I don't know, but it does give them time to get anti-air behind this. Harstem's pumping out 2 Stargates worth of units at a time. We got +1 weapons on the way, and this attack out of Elazer, it's dangerous. But I think with a couple of overcharges, with 3 Phoenix at a time and soon to be Anion Pulse Crystals, Harstem should be able to deal with this. In fact, there's a Thor, there's 3 Widowmines. Major is entirely setting up bait there too, by the way. He wanted the mutas to clump up and fly on top of it. Not quite going to happen. SCV's trying to repair that turret. That turret's going to live. The mutas don't quite cut it. Phoenix is looking to pounce on top of that. That turret still hasn't died. It finally goes down, but it costs him 12 mutas in the process. Thor comes out with some splash damage. Harstem going to chase this down, and Elazer just lost all of his Mutalisks. This was the only thing they really had going for them. The Roach attack is not that alarming, to be honest. The Phoenixes can come around, lift this up. There's Immortals paired up with these Widowmines. He's looking to give some hugs to these Roaches, and these Widowmines are going to have no problem cleaning this up. A great defense out of Harstem and Major, but Elazer and uThermal not tapping out just yet. Still some units to fight with. Still sitting on 70 drones amongst 4 bases worth of mining. I just don't think any amount of mutas will bring him back into this game, because at some point the Phoenix count with Anion Pulse Crystals will just be unbeatable. Yeah, I think the Anion Pulse Crystals is just a little bit too much, guys, at this point. Not to mention, okay, you hypothetically think Corruptors bring this back. My voice is starting to crack. That's the solo casting yelling for you coming in. Major's going to have not only the Thors to help out a bit, he's going to have the Widowmines. And if he can bait, if Harstem can successfully bait Corruptors on top of Widowmines, oh, there's just no way. There's just going to be no way. Changelings coming in. Awkward. Yeah, these get killed pretty easily at that. Other side of the map, Major scans to see what's going on. He still sees very little to no production out of uThermal. uThermal doing the only thing he really can do and go towards air tech, because air tech doesn't require upgrades the same way every other tech path does. You can just go straight into mass ravens and viably make that possible if you can get enough of them. But with tanks, you need upgrades. With Thors and mech, you need upgrades against Major, who's also going for mech. Bio, your sim timing is just screwed at this point. Your 1-1 doesn't exist. uThermal is making the best decision he possibly can with the tools available to him. It's just unfortunate that it still feels like this won't be enough, because 3 starports producing ravens is so gas intense. Elazer might be able to chuck him some bones, I guess, in that regard. Because once again, yeah, it's Corvid Reactor. This is the extra energy on the ravens. This is shrapnel shards. This makes auto turrets and seeker missiles do more damage. But you got to consider, guys, like Major and Harstem. I guess on one hand, point defense drone. Oh, you know what? I'm going to take all this back. I actually think there's still a winning scenario for Elazer and uThermal. It's small, it's non-existent, but it's still there. If he point defense drones, the Phoenixes can't kite around and control the area like they normally would. And on the other hand, if they decide to fight through the point defense drone, that's where you start having the Corruptors win out through their armor. Like, hypothetically, if there's enough shots to eat up the point defense drone, the Corruptors will excel at beating out and soaking up those Phoenix shots even further. Corruptors, of course, come with some baseline armor, but Elazer's also invested in air carapace, so the weapon upgrades that Harstem was going for aren't going to be as good as they normally would. He's also got a couple carriers out behind this. Didn't even catch that. Tempest on the way. Mothership coming up on deck. Harstem has just got all the late game air tech you could possibly want. But will the addition? I really don't know. I'm asking this as an actual question, not as a hypothetical that a caster would ask to himself as he solo casts. And that is, will the Ravens be enough to tip the scales of this game? I really think it's cool to consider that there's a potential here. There really is. Like, I'm not trying to sell you guys short. In my crazy hypotheticals, uThermal's got a garbage army supply, but with some of the strongest casters in the game. Splits his meters a little bit uncertain. Elazer's control there. MajOr, on the other hand, has a really nice amount of units in play. And I think between the Vikings and the Liberators, not to mention the Thors, I don't think even point defense drone is going to cut it. Where are those Ravens, though, and how many? There's 8 of them. They've got some decent energy. He's got to get these on that front line, though. He's got to be able to fight with Elazer. It's not about bulking up. uThermal's never going to get hit 200-200. He knows that. So he's got to use the units to the best of his capabilities. If that's auto turrets on the ground, great. If that's point defense drones to buy some time, better. If that's seeker missiles, if somehow, God forbid, he gets seeker missiles off, that'll be really cool. But, man, the fact of the matter is, with 3 Thors on the ground... 4 Thors on the ground, excuse me. There's no way for Elazer to properly use the mutas the way he wants to. And hell, well, normally I'd say, like, oh, you gotta transform those corruptors, right? Nope. Not a problem. You can just... or not transform the corruptors, excuse me. Transform the Thors to deal with the corruptors. It's not a problem, just because the amount of splash damage will still push through. Vikings and Liberators get on that front line. He's extending a bit away from his ally. I'm not sure if MajOr wants to come in here and fight without Harstem's aid. Harstem is way off to the north, by the way, while this goes on, protecting his gold base. And MajOr risked a lot. Well, we know that that was not dangerous at all. That could have been for MajOr, who's coming to this in a bit of a blind unknown. Multiple scans coming down, checking to see what's ahead. uThermal scanning with what is only 1 scan to see where the army is. And he does see said army. I want to see the Ravens be what changes the game, guys. I want to see 14 Ravens overcome the odds. Point defense drones will stop the Tempest from being very good. Problem is, the point defense drones and auto turrets, they really don't last very long. They have a very short lifespan. Oh god, I want this to happen so bad, guys. I want to see the epicest of comebacks of all time. But I really don't know. I really don't. You just don't see this composition ever. We're so busy casting 1v1s, right? When do you ever see Ravens in 1v1s? You don't. Because friggin' High Templar will feedback them all. And I think that's what Harstem's banking on, by the way. He does have a couple of storms, but I think feedback will be better in this situation. I'm going to just make the overlay disappear for a sec. Can I do that? No, you can't do that in GameHeart. 2v2. Never mind then. Point defense drones. Seeker missiles aplenty. Big explosions going off in the heart of the army, but I still don't know if that's going to be enough. Brood Lords have no anti-air cover. The Corruptors are slowly but systematically being picked apart. The Mothership remains untouched, and I think the Protoss Golden Armada is going to be the substitute for the Death Fleet, as there's just no way to take this on any further. Loved the idea of the Ravens. Loved uThermal's use of said Ravens. But at the end of the day, it's a numbers game that favors Harstem. They take game number 3. Giving them a nice boost, too. Now leading 2-1 here in the finals. One more game, and they close it up. But we're going to go to the commercial break, guys. And we'll see you for game number 4, which could be the match-deciding game when we return. All right, welcome back. Thank you guys for watching. Going to make sure I didn't miss anything on the match trainer page. Nope, we're good. Still, that bomb-ass 100 being what tops off. I'm just going to... Frankly, I want to close it at this point, but I just want to make sure I don't miss anyone's contributions, should we have any going forward. But make no mistake, guys, $522 raised, we're set. 150 of that came from Matcherino / your guys' contributions, 100 from BaseTradeTV, and the rest was all your generosity. And I guess we'll tag it as passion as well. Give these players a bit of a better prize for their time spent here for the tournament today. That being said, we are in the finals of the 2v2 tournament. It looks like we might just be on the conclusion to everything here, depending on how this game goes. Spawning in the upper right side of the map is going to be the Team Thermal Laser, combination of Elazer and uThermal. And they are on their last life. Top left side, Team Harstem, combination of Harstem and MajOr. Of course, MajOr on a barcode. I think they finally announced that they're coming out with team or paid name changes or free name changes. I don't actually know which. I didn't really read up on it. I just know that there are some name changes on the way, which will be cool. And I gotta be honest, there are some times where if I know I'm gonna be casting MajOr for the next 5 out of my 6 days because he shows up in all my casts, I as a caster even would have no problem shouting, hey Major, here's 15 bucks to change your name, right? Like, go pay for the name change, please don't be a barcode. Stuff like that. I mean, it's not something I think players would even necessarily agree to, but I'm just glad that we have the option potentially now. But looks like Distant Plain is a 4-player spawn map with the tightest, tiniest choke going into the mains. So, not too much of a problem. Natural bases, of course, are a little bit wider, a little bit more exposed. But just generally speaking, I don't think anyone's going to get cheesed out in this game. Shinak says, BaseTradeTV, thanks. You just don't get games like this with 1v1s. Yeah, it's nice to take a break once in a while. Last year, we actually were able to justify hosting a lot of 2v2s because we had a bit more money lying around as we were really trying to just spend. Unfortunately, through all of that, we really did not manage to convince a lot of sponsors. But I love that we still, you know, what is it? We're here in the finals on September 25th. We got 1,600 people tuning in at the time of me saying this. Not the highest viewership we've ever had, but enough that I could certainly justify trying to do more if we could get the backing to it. So, with people like MajOr down to throw $100 into it, that could kickstart a tournament for another one of these potentially in the future. I don't know. I will say this though, we have like something like $1,100 right now put aside because one of our viewers wants us to host a random versus random tournament with that. And the idea behind that right now is to have 2 qualifiers of random versus random tournament play leading into one big event. Again, with a lot of money on the line for it. That looks like a lot of fun, and that seems to be our next off-the-wall project, if you will. We do want to have that play out for October, not the end of September, though. So sometime in October, you guys will get to see some random versus random action and see how bad some of these guys play with their off races. I still remember back to the last random versus random tournament, we had Xanster beat Cyril with Cyril playing his main race and Xanster playing an off race, PVZ. Thank you to Ben Lights, by the way, for the 8-month resub. Always says the best, or says always the best content on Twitch. I'm so glad you think so, man, and I'm glad you tune in. I'm actually a little bit salty. Speaking of Twitch things, we're going to TwitchCon. We've been advertising that we're going to TwitchCon for a while, and I'm really excited to be going to TwitchCon. But we've been left off the guest list once again. And the guest list, by the way, is not certainly like dedicated to speakers. Like, you know, we don't have a panel. We don't have like something dedicated to like a meet and greet there. But neither do a lot of the people who are going. But channels much smaller than us have been listed as guests, and it feels kind of bad, man. 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. So we'll see if that still sticks with it. But I'm glad you guys enjoy our content, because that's what matters the most. Elazer poking over here, take the gold. Probably saying I'm going to take the gold, Elazer, I would imagine. Like, uThermal, hands off, that's my gold. At the same time, you might be saying because you're playing one base opener, you take the gold, you make up for it. I don't know. Cool that we can see pings, though. Drilling Claws. Whoa, let's talk about unconventional for a second here, guys. We have the fastest ability to burrow Widow Mines coming up. I'm really curious to see how he plans to use this. He does get a drop off on this side, though, and that's going to push Major's command center back. However, I don't know there's much more he can do behind this. This will be cool, though, because the Widow Mine can pop off and something scan actually checks it out, so not a problem. Going back to the Drilling Claws for a moment, if he's going for Drilling Claws, Tunneling Claws, actually I think it's Drilling Claws. Yeah, Tunneling Claws is Roaches. If he's going for Drilling Claws and he can burrow the Widow Mines really early, okay, that's cool, but I mean, what do you plan to do with it? Are you going mass Widow Mine? Are you looking to just get a couple and burrow them so they don't get picked off before they get a chance to burrow? I really am curious how uThermal plans to use it, because I think it was Rough. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember. It was either Rough or Lily Canine, one of the weirder Terran players out there. They actually had a really fast Drilling Claws build that worked out really well, and I remember specifically saying I'd love to see somebody with better track records, better playing of the game, handle that sort of build and see how they would take it. Like, for example, there's a build out there Rough does. He did it versus Sulky. It was a quick +1 weapons into a Planetary Fortress with Planetary Fortress proxy with like 3 Rex Reaper. And I would love to see somebody like uThermal do that and see how they handle it. And see if it's any better than the conventional, just regular Reapers that we see. Anyways, Widow Mine doesn't get a chance to burrow. Second one does, though, with those Tunneling Claws, and that's the difference of him getting 4 kills or not. Scan still gets forced out, and these Phoenix will probably clean up the medevac if Harstem's paying attention, but he's distracted because he wants to fight down here to the south and stop this from doing damage. So that medevac in the top left of the uThermal might just get a chance to go home. Still, though, we got Elazer and uThermal dealing some pretty nice damage to their opponents. The problem is, though, Elazer's the only one really succeeding off of this. He takes a third base. He's sitting on 60 drones. Gonna lose some now to the tank, maybe. And that's where the Widow Mines shine once again. Pick off that medevac, maybe? These drilling claws are so cute. I really like this. I really like this. But anyways, as I was saying, uThermal's still one-basing it is the problem. His worker count suffers greatly because of this. But Elazer's supposed to be running away with the game while this happens. And this kind of reminds me a little bit of a macroized version of that build that Lily Canine would do and others, where you would just feed your ally resources because you had so much money. And that may be a little bit of what's going on right now. But this does look problematic. Harstem and MajOr have got quite the force pushing through. MajOr with the tanks pressuring the base. There's a cannon set up, but once again, I don't know if this will stop the Widow Mines from burrowing with their very fast drilling claws. Hitting the SCVs also doesn't mean too much, unfortunately. So this is a third, not a natural, being pressured because the Elazer did take uThermal's natural as his third, so he'll have money behind this. There's not really that many medevacs to shuffle the tanks around, so Corrosive Biles could potentially be the solution here. But he gives up the base instead, and that may just be the better choice given the situation at hand. uThermal has been constantly dropping Widow Mines this game, and unfortunately not getting too much for them. So I really like the idea. Oh, scans for the Observer this time, so it forces MajOr to scan for the Widow Mine. That's kind of cute. This cannon, though, the cannon and the quick overcharge is what's keeping these from getting too much done on the Protoss side of it. But looks like he's just going to YOLO burrow them and hope for the best. Not too many kills out of these Widow Mines. Tries to pick them up and get out of there with a medevac. But the overcharge does take it down. Top left, medevac got cleaned up as well. I think uThermal may have just forgotten about it, but you got cleaned up by the Phoenix, so never him mind. Elazer takes the gold base to make up for losing the regular third. Unfortunately, because this has been creeped up, uThermal can't take this one either, so he has to take the gold in the middle of the map. And the problem is he's actually mined out a lot of his main. His income is suffering greatly because of this. He doesn't have the greatest worker count, but maybe this will work out with him having a gold. I really don't know, guys. It's been a really weird, wild game that looked like, you know, this was going to do a lot of damage. Okay, it didn't for the harass, and it looked like MajOr and Harstem were going to kill them with that push. No, it got stalled out. And Elazer has so much army supply right now. 74. He's got 1-1 finished up as well. He's going for 2-2. Already halfway finished. Excuse me. People ask about TwitchCon? Yeah, just confirming. We're going to TwitchCon, guys. It's next weekend, actually. Be gone from, like, I think the Thursday to the Monday or something. Scanning all over the place, though. Keeping eyes on both sides of this. Blue scan, teal scan. But I think, I don't know, guys. Like, everything that I know, like, if I were to close my eyes with just simply the information I have right now and stop looking at the game, I still think this favors Harstem and MajOr. Not necessarily because of tech, but just because of their macro paired up with their army supplies. 88 army supply is great out of Elazer, and I think in a 1v1, he could take on either Harstem or MajOr's army without too much issue. But it is a 2v2, and you've got that extra element to worry about. And both players have a bigger army than uThermal. I hate to say it, but uThermal's not contributing that much when it comes to the game. The drilling claws with Burrow are really cool, and they're getting good hits. I love the Widow Mine aspect of this, but 2 or 3 Widow Mines doesn't make up for being down 40 army supply, and that kind of seems to be the problem. Not to mention the type of supply here. Lots of tanks for MajOr, none for uThermal. He's only got Marines to bring to the fight, but they are going to try and take the fight. Banelings get on top of the Adepts. Banelings wipe out the Marines, and maybe I should take back everything I just finished saying because MajOr's tanks do not outweigh the damage the Banelings just did. That being said, there's still a couple of units to fall back to as the tanks fall back. There's still an Immortal. There's still sentries. uThermal and Elazer don't have the power to push right across the map. But damn, that was a really good fight. That was a much better fight than I anticipated them taking, to be honest. And a large part of that goes to the shout out of Elazer. His income has been so good for so much of this game. He had the money to make enough Banelings to waste like that. I say waste here tentatively. It kept him alive in the game, so was it really a waste? But the problem is he doesn't really have the means to get round 2 out there. We also have a big attack him down here. Command center getting pushed off. SCV's getting pulled out. uThermal, once again, like last game with the Ravens, he doesn't have a lot to work with, but he is doing a lot with what little he is working with. Well, as Medevacs wrap north side, there's not a lot defending. Tanks actually come in. This might make him regret dropping. Harstem calling out that drop immediately so MajOr could respond to it. Good teamwork there, boys, and good communication. Reminding everybody tuning in as well, these guys are both on, like, both teams are on, like, TeamSpeak or Skype. Like, we had that one game. Man, I can't speak anymore. We had that one game where there's a little bit of a lag issue for their voiceover programs, so we had to kind of pause out and restart and wait. So we know that communication's key already, and they are doing a great job talking to each other, pinging to each other, saying, here's that, there's what's up, etc. But uThermal still continue to be annoying. I mean, so here's the difference these drilling claws are making, right? Widow mines are guaranteed to die most of the time. Cannon, detection, whatever. The fact that they get to burrow says, okay, they're going to die, but they'll burrow fast enough to do damage before dying. Elazer now is sitting on 110 supply, but MajOr has about 110 as well. Oh my god, but he just lost a good chunk of that. The tanks, most importantly, get picked off in the middle of the map. Complacency out of MajOr brings uThermal back into this game in a big way. uThermal with 100 supply has been awkward and man, I am actually done. My brain is mush. He's been unable to use it successfully is what I was trying to say for most of this game. That being said, catching those tanks in the middle of the map was massive. In fact, I'm going to straight up call it devastating, because that was the one thing MajOr really had going over uThermal. He had tanks, he had range, he had the ability to zone out his opponents, but now he's going to lose the command center here at the gold. Lings are a little bit tentative to engage, but uThermal can pull back off of this and wait to retreat over top of those Widow Mines. There's no drops going on anywhere else on the map. Nobody's dropping in the mains of either bases. There's no counterattacks. uThermal and Elazer, I think, are actually pulling through. This is crazy. I love this. Normally, we're just, like, faking it up a little bit, right? I think as commentators, we never lie to you, but we do ask that question, like, can they make it happen with the potential, but the likeliness of it being no? This is a situation where I did count uThermal and Elazer out of the game fully and entirely, but they have brought this back to a completely viable fight. Upgrades are pretty much similar across the board. Elazer's got better upgrades than most. He's on Hive Tech too. Broodlords are going to come into play at some point. Storms take out a good chunk of the bio, but there's still a lot of banlings behind this. And if either MajOr or anyone tries to push through, it's not going to work. Meanwhile, I didn't realize Elazer managed to sneak out a massive counterattack while this goes on. He completely guts MajOr's only mining base. MajOr's going to have no income after this. So Harstem and MajOr's hands are forced, and Team Harstem has to push through the hard fight. But the banlings take out such a huge chunk of the initial battle. There's more banlings where that came from, and a lot of bio left alive for uThermal. MajOr's base completely dies, by the way. This is out of storm energy now. He might be better off. He's actually got about 2 storms left, excuse me. That being said, I still think it might be too much. Elazer sitting on 100 army supply. He's waiting for those corrosive biles. And he's going to have Broodlords on deck. There's actually going to be no anti-air at this rate. The only anti-air remaining is this one Archon and a couple of Marines. If he takes out the Marines with the banlings, even if it's cost ineffectively... Oh, uThermal's counterattacking when this goes on too. The Broodlords should be what GG's this game. Bringing their name back into full force. The GG Lords have arrived. Broodlings being sent on the front lines. uThermal's counterattack devastating Harstem's mining base. And him and MajOr are just simply out of cash. I can't believe it. The turnaround in this game has been insane. MajOr had so much control and he messed up with those tanks in the middle of the map so badly that it gave uThermal the opportunity to snipe and bring this back, and Elazer just overpowers what's left. GG gets gold! We're going to the ace match! 2-2, boys! I mean, these guys are playing for a lot of money. $522 up for grabs, $400 for first place, $100 for second. Oh, this could be anyone's game at this point, and I don't know what to call. We are going to go to commercial break, though, guys. 2 minutes, and we'll see you for the final match. All right, folks, we're back. Thanks for watching that last final commercial break. Oops, as I hit some chords. I hope that wasn't loud. Never want to hit anything touched to the microphone. You never know what that's going to sound like or how bad it'll be. But anyways, we're going to get into this final game. Last match in this best of 3. It's going down on Mobius Facility XX1. Whenever the players are ready, we'll get this game started. But man, oh man, I did not expect this to go to a game 5. I'm totally stoked that it did, and this was a really fun tournament today. I once again would like to thank Dares for admitting this. We were testing him out, giving him a bit of a trial run, but I think things went pretty smoothly, and a fairly small bracket, but still fairly smooth cast today. And Thanks to the admin for helping make that possible. Once again, big thank you to Majorino for the prizing and helping us raise such an awesome prize pool. And then, of course, you guys, the viewers, for contributing to said prize pool. $522 is currently the amount we've raised. There's at least $400 for first place prize. There's exactly $100 for second place prize. And it's all going to be determined by this final game. Yeah, I like seeing those ace matches in chat, guys. That's what we got the emotes for, man. Every single subscriber who like ace matches when we get to like, you know, the final games, I fucking love. But things are tied up 2-2. It's a little bit backwards on the overlay. It squeezed me, but we'll have to deal with it. Spawning down here in the bottom left side of the map, it's going to be the combination of the Protoss Terror Harstem and the Major Monstrosity Major, aka Team Harstem. And the top right side of the map, it's going to be the combination of the Elegant Elazer and the unscrupulous uThermal. So how many adjectives do I know that start with a U? Oh, you know what? I could have copped on that. The unyielding uThermal. There we go. Combination team Thermal Lance. Thermal Laser, excuse me. Thermal Lance rolls off the tongue better. Maybe we should just call him Thermal Lance. No, it's gonna be Thermal Laser. Anyways, Flamco says 2v2 is 2 times better than 1v1. Just simple math. Oh man, Flamco, you're somebody who should play Counter-Strike with me, okay? Because every time I play, and by the way, guys, I have not played Counter-Strike in a long time. I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm not an amazing player. I don't even know the name of the old ranks. I know it's different now. I hit like the 2 AKs. There we go. That was my rank. Shows how much I know Counter-Strike. But every single time we got terrorists, I would try and convince everybody to do dualies. Oh, fuck, that was loud. Jesus. Oh, my God, what was that? Well, I'm glad to see that the donation thing's been fixed when I'm solo casting. That scared the shit out of me. I'll get to that in a moment. Because I was going to say, I always convince everyone to try to do dualies to B. Because if 5 people each buy 2 guns, that's like 10 guns versus 5. That's double! So, Flamco, I think we should play some... You get the same logic, man. Anyways, thank you for the $5 donation. Top Korean caster, top donation of the day. Ben Light says, I love your energy cast in this series. I also happen to love team games, so it's a win-win for me. Well, I happen to love that donation, and I happen to love that you're watching the games. So, win-win for me as well, friend. Thank you very much. But we got a bigger map, and we actually had uThermal Proxy. Once again, he did this earlier, and it got caught, and the game still went in their favor. This time around, it looks like he's going to get away with his shenanigans, and we'll see if it works even better for him. No quick Widow Mine burrows this game, but it is still going to be quick Widow Mines into that medevac, into what is likely a Liberator follow-up. In fact, I would actually argue this might be one of the few maps you could totally pull off Liberator range with a quote-unquote bunny build for, but... Oh, no. This looks so similar to last time. This time the Widow Mine will kill the Reaper, however, and the SCV gets to finish the starport. uThermal keeps this alive. The dream goes on. He can even repair the Widow Mine if he wants to, but maybe not realizing it's low on health. I don't know. Elazer pinging this base, though. I guess, what have they seen? Okay, so they know where the spawn location is because he didn't scout down here. He didn't know that he was pinging particularly Harstem's base, however. Hellions coming out should be able to deal with Widow Mines, especially if there's an overcharge. And even maybe a Phoenix in play? I don't know. uThermal's going to go around north side, though. The problem is, if you drop on top of Terran, the Widow Mine drops are really just not that effective. They'll force out scans, they'll be really annoying, but they won't be that great. But if you drop on Harstem, then maybe you get the 9 and the 6 kills that we saw before. I don't know. Either way, he'll kill one of Major's mules, and that's going to be kind of cool. It's not that much damage, it's not that devastating, but keep in mind, that's basically 270 minerals denied. Because that won't be mining. The Laser's following this up with a Nidus Worm too. Oh, what's the best way to guard a Nidus Worm? With a couple of burrowed Widow Mines, in my opinion. Is that going to kill the Phoenix? Is Harstem being that complacent? That's going to totally hit the Phoenix. It doesn't kill it, but gets a little bit messy, as that's kind of low. We do have Cloaked Banshees, not Liberators, following this up, by the way. So we got Cloaked Banshees and Widow Mines in proxy with paired up a Nidus Worm. The scariest thing about a Nidus Worm is like normally you need vision, so you deny the Overlord and the Overseer scouting. No Nidus Worms, no problems. However, when you've got a Terran ally who can just scan and literally let you help, you can place a Nidus Worm anywhere on the map if you have a Terran ally. But I think Elazer kind of knows the jig is up, and I don't know if he'll have much come out of this first one. If he does, it's got to be Queens first. Queens do come out first. They'll be able to take on some of the Adept damage. Phoenixes were pulled away to try and deal with Widow Mines that were dropping over here, but unfortunately, too much action going on for me to follow. Marines coming to the front line, too. uThermal's even got a little bit more to contribute than just Proxy. Widow Mines and Elazer, and uThermal look to have the upper hand here initially. I really like the Banshee addition to this. The problem is, though, right now, those Phoenixes could have focused it down. They don't. They're shooting Queens instead, and that Banshee can cloak in just a second. MajOr will have to burn scans to be able to see it. Not to mention the Mineral Line's getting compromised here. That creep spread's already up on his face, up in his base. Roach is taking out the Hellions. Banshee's help with that. That's going to be the top out of MajOr. uThermal and Elazer take the series. They win first place. $400 to split between the two of them. And a lot of people today came in, and I know a lot of people came in like, oh, this is just another tournament where MajOr and Harstem going to clean up some easy cash. You won't even be close, blah, blah. Like, we had a lot of negative naysayers at the start of the cast today being kind of lame about it. But I'm super stoked that they were proven wrong, and I'm really happy great people like uThermal and Elazer were able to win through. By the way, Elazer? Oh, why didn't I call them that? Elazer and uThermal get a little bit of extra love because we regularly see them turn out to Corsair Cups, play for every single qualifier available. No shots fired to Harstem and MajOr. You know, they're busy with their own stuff. I'm just saying, it's great to see people that we see dedicated to events we run on the channel win big when it comes to events on the channel. So it makes me, personally, a very, very happy camper. But let's not forget, MajOr and Harstem will still get some money thanks to you guys helping us raise the prize pool to what it is. $522 means they both walk away with $50 each. And this is American money too. This is real money, not like my fake Canadian money. And as far as the webcam goes, guys, like I said, it's scheduled to be here by tonight at the latest. I did put in for the 2-day shipping, so it should be here. And hopefully and ideally, I'll have my camera up and working for when we go on in the future. But I think that's going to wrap up the cast today. And, oh, god damn it. This is an idiot thread to finish up my day with. So, I would like to quickly thank everybody for tuning in and give a big shout out to our sponsors, Corsair Gaming, Chairs for Gaming, Yord Woodwatches, and of course, even G2A.com. You can use promo code BASE on G2A and promo codes BaseTradeTV on Chairs for Gaming if you guys want to save some cash. We'll go in for purchases. But I do want to talk about this G2A thing because I am seriously getting absolutely fed up with it. I want to put out there that this is entirely my opinion, and this is not something I'm trying to enforce on any of you, and none of you have to share this opinion, okay? That being said, this hate for BaseTradeTV because of G2A is really getting out of hand and insane. I understand that, for example, if you're a subscriber to the channel but you don't like G2A, you don't like that they support us and we support them, so you don't want to in turn support us through subscribing, again, that's your own choice. I will never hate you for that. If you can't afford to sub, if you don't want to sub, whatever, that's completely on you, and you're afforded that opportunity as a human being, right? That's the wonderful thing that is choice. The way we choose to have G2A as a sponsor. However, I'm getting absolutely fed up and sick of seeing all these threads. It comes up once in a while, some get downvoted, some get upvoted. It's just constant shit posting where, like, BaseTradeTV is the devil for having G2A give them money so that they can do StarCraft 2 events with. And then, you know, Total Biscuits made his voice heard and all these other things. This is a Reddit thread. I haven't even read it. I'm just referencing this right now. But until I start seeing people actually actively speaking against DreamHack, who's sponsored by G2A, against IEM, that is sponsored by Kingwin, by the way, which is basically the same thing as G2A. Both sites were in competition with each other for a while because they did the exact same service with the exact same products. Until I just see this as like a ridiculous form of bullying. People seem to be okay with, like, oh, I can't pick on the jock like DreamHack because he could beat me up, but that scraggly little kid in the corner who's just doing what he can to get by, fuck that guy, fucking nerd. Like, every mouth-breathing idiot who wants to make a big deal about this, please understand, you're not making a single impact on me or my choice to be choosing the sponsors that we choose. If, for whatever reason, we ever part with G2A, or Corsair, or Chairs for Game, or God forbid, Yord, or any of these guys that we work with, it will be of our own choosing, of our own accord. These people who are trying to put pressure on us because we are, quote-unquote, supporting, like, scammers and shit, your ignorance knows no bounds, and really, just stop watching the channel. It will be the best way you can help me and help yourself out. A, you won't be supporting us by watching anymore. Thus, hey, maybe the viewer count will go down. Or alternatively, nobody fucking cares, and it's not as big of a deal as everyone wants to make it be. It's just, this is like the 50th time I'm fucking seeing this. I have to say it. It's so annoying. This could be with any other sponsor. I'd be making the exact same spiel of it, guys. But please, Keep your mouth breathing to yourselves. If you're going to shit post, do it in StarCraft Circle Jerk. And really, until you contribute something to the scene yourself, I don't give a fuck what you have to say. That's my bit. That's my rant. That's how I'm going to end the stream. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Have a great day. Big love. Going to end the cast on a couple of minutes commercial. Stick around and watch if you want. Otherwise, subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BaseTradeTV. Lots of cool content going on over there. Shouting out Zombie Grub since she's not here. Twitter.com/ZombieGrub. She's posting a ton of pictures from her stay over at Kings of the North. They're doing some casting over there too, I still believe. I'm not sure if that's finished for the day or not. I think it's still going. And of course, last but not least, follow me on Twitter, guys, Riff_Kings. Follow the channel, consider subscribing, all that beautiful stuff. We got some really cool promotions coming up in the next week too. I can't legally talk about them just yet, but this next week should have some cool stuff before TwitchCon. And a couple more StarCraft 2 tournaments before we're all said and done. Last shout-outs, by the way. Last words go to Dares. Thank you so much for adminning, man. And thank you for helping make this tournament day possible. Other than that, have a great day, everybody. I don't know who will host, but make sure to give them some love. I'll see you guys later. Tomorrow, actually, specifically for the Corsair Cup.